Hey everybody, this is Peter Valencia from ZZZGAR Cigar Accessories. Thanks for joining us again. Here we are on another Sunday. I think last week I did that video review on the Diplomaticos #2 also on a Sunday. So maybe we'll do Sunday cigar specials. But I don't know, I would like to do more throughout the week as well. So we'll just kind of see how it goes, really. Um, Today we are doing another Cuban cigar. So on Instagram, what I did was I put a post or a poll on there to see what you all would like to see, and what everybody came up and voted for was a Cuban cigar. It was Cuban versus non-Cuban, so everybody chose Cuban. So great, I'm excited. I really love Cuban cigars, and today we have a special one that I really enjoy. So this brand is somewhat similar to another company, and we'll see that a little bit later on. So the one that we're smoking today, or we will be going over, is La Gloria Cubana Serie D, or Series D #5, or they go by La Gloria Cubana D #5. So I may have given it away just there when I said that, but either way, this is one of my favorite cigars. This is the Exclusivo España edition. So what that basically is that there's a lot of companies that'll do regional releases or limited edition cigars, and this happens to be one that they did as a Spanish or regional edition for Spain. So it's one of my favorites. So if you happen to know me personally, or your friend or family, you know that I am part Spanish. So I tend to gravitate towards anything culturally or historically kind of relating to Spain. I tend to enjoy it. It's pretty interesting to me, just to kind of know a little bit about your background. But this is the cigar that we happen to be going over today. So I have a few different books here. One is this one right here, which I referenced in the last video, which if you haven't seen it, check it out, because it is the Diplomaticos #2. It was a pretty good video, I think, in my opinion. I don't want to say great, because there's always something that you can improve upon, but that was the first video of this series, I should say. But this book here is the Illustrated Encyclopedia of Post-Revolution Havana Cigars, and it was created by Min Ron Nee. So I believe that is an alias of the gentleman. But what he did is, if you haven't seen the previous video, which again, go check it out. And by the way, thanks for being here. We really appreciate you. If you like these type of videos, just give us a quick like or subscribe. Let us know what you think, because everything helps with the YouTube algorithm and all that. But again, thanks for being here. Again, back to this book. The book itself, the guy spent millions of dollars creating this book because he found all these rare and antique cigars. He took actual size photos of them, put a historical description of each company and everything in there. It's great. It really is. It's a hard to find book, but I was lucky enough to find one. This other book over here is the Havana Cigar, Cuba's Finest. And it kind of goes over the same thing. It gives a little bit of history about the industry, a lot of colorful photos. It also does actual size photos of the cigars. It's not as thorough as the encyclopedia, but it does a great job, and it's, not even close to the price that I ended up paying for this. I was lucky to find this one at a used bookstore for like $30, I think it was. No, actually, I think it was less than that. I think I got it made for $15. Either way, this one was a pretty penny. But back to the cigar. We're going over La Gloria Cubana. And let's start on some of the history of this cigar. I know I seem excited, but I really am. I really like cigars. They're just exciting to me, the history behind it, because people have been smoking cigars for centuries, and it just seems like day by day we get more and more information about it. And it's really neat to me because the history behind it, how they've survived all these events, you know, especially this company, as we'll see right here. So they started in 1885. Let me get closer so you can see how beautiful this label is. I mean, look at that. That is just beautiful, right? And it hasn't really changed over the years. I mean, you could look right here in, let me try to show this. I don't want to mess up the book, but look right here. That is their box, right? The box picture, the cover that they used to have, that's pre-revolution, right? Pre-revolution of Cuba, the revolution. I had to look this up because I'm not a huge Cuba buff. You know, I don't know all that much about their country and their history, but I'm trying to learn because it's fascinating to me. But the revolution was in the 50s, and from what I've seen, it started like 53, 54, around there, right? And but this was a pre-revolution cigar. It started in 1885, right? That is so crazy. So 1885, created by the firm Sociedad Cabañas y Castro, right? It was located on 53 Corrales Street in Havana. That is cool, right? They even know the address. That is pretty cool. 1905, they got bought out. What? Right? Another business buying them out already. It was only 20 years later they got bought out. But Jose F. Roca and Company, SNC, and the factory, they moved to Miguel Street. Oh man, they bought them out and moved them out, right? We're going to a new location. We're going to do things a little bit differently. But did they? No, they kept going with what they were creating, right? So move some years down, almost 50 years later from then, the brand, they got bought out again. Oh no. Have you heard of Bolivar? Bolivar? No, that's not who bought them, but they got bought out with Bolivar by the Cifuentes family. Now, if you know anything about Cuban cigars, you have probably come across that name before, Cifuentes, right? So they moved the production of Bolivar and, well, I shouldn't say this. They moved production of La Gloria Cubana to the Partagas factory, or Partagas, right? That's how you're supposed to say it. There's an accente over the A, the last A on Partagas, right? So they moved production of La Gloria Cubana to the Partagas factory. And from there, they kept producing these wonderful cigars. Now they're a little bit different now than they are or were back then, just because of the time, right? You know, things changed just a little bit, but they maintained what their spirit was of the original company. So they moved the factory, or they moved to the production over there along with Bolivar. All right, so great. I'm kind of referencing this, you know, kind of going with you. You know, we're learning together. So they did move Bolivar over there with La Gloria Cubana. So that is fantastic. So post-revolution, right? After all that craziness went on, in 65, they brought the brand back. Why? Because when the revolution was going on, they stopped production of a lot of different brands of cigars, and La Gloria Cubana happened to be one of them, unfortunately. So it's like, here comes the revolution. Guess what, guys? We're moving. We're going to a new location. Partagas is going to produce all the cigars, but oh, lo and behold, sorry, we're going to have to decrease everything. And about a year or two later, they kind of just was suspended, you know. It was for a period of time, so it was probably between 5 to 10 years, roughly, maybe a little bit less, where they decreased production of the cigars, and it was just kind of halted. Like, hey, we got to stop. You know, some craziness is going on. So they ended up bringing them back in 1965. They brought them back, started producing again, and you know what? Even at that time, production was limited. For me, when I got this box, actually this, I believe, is my 4th box. So I've purchased 4. When I got the cigars, I purchased 2 originally, because I always try to have one to where I'm going to humidify and just kind of let it rest a little bit, and I'll start smoking it. the second box I always put away and kind of sit on it. Let it rest for a year, maybe 2 if I can keep away from it long enough, you know, because we're cigar smokers. We love to smoke these things, right? So like I bought 2 boxes. I sat on one for a little while and then I smoked through the other one, you know, enjoyed it with friends as we do with our brothers and sisters of the leaf. You know, we just enjoy these things. So that's what I did. I enjoyed the first box, kind of started creeping into the second box, you know, and eventually I found a few more, but they were hard to find. Those first 2 boxes, they really were, and I was lucky to find them because this Exclusivo España Regional Edition, it came out in 2017, so it's 2020 now, so that was 3 years ago when they came out with it, and I was lucky enough to find 2 boxes when it came out. But I digress. Either way, it's a fantastic history behind this cigar. So when they brought it back in '65, the production was still limited, just as it is now today. Why? Well, why do you think? Well, it's not so much that material is short supplied or that there's not enough workforce there to produce these cigars, but there's a couple reasons why companies would do this. One, they want to create demand, right? Demand, demand, demand. We give them out the product, we get the price we want. That's not so much the case here, right? Yeah, they wanted to have the demand, but they wanted to limit it for a reason, right? You can do something and you could do it horribly. You could do something and you could do it great, right? So why not take the time, limit the quantity, and focus on the quality, right? Produce a fantastic product versus something that's just mildly okay. And that's what they did. They produce a fantastic product. They really do. La Gloria Cubana, I unfortunately, this is the only La Gloria Cubana cigar that I've had. But I can honestly say it is by far, I would say probably top 3 cigars that I've had. That's saying a lot because there's another Cuban cigar that's in one of my favorites, and I'll do a video on that one later. But top 3, definitely top 3, man. So again, if you can find it, I highly recommend it. It was hard to find, really. I mean, you got to look at it from the time that this book came out. This book came out in the early 2000s. It's 2020 now, right? So that's 20 years, roughly, that this book, you know, they're saying back in 2000, this brand, La Gloria Cubana, accounted for 0.2% of the cigars that were exported from Habanos SA, right? So now, I mean, with cigars like these, I mean, I believe they even came out with a more recent regional edition. For some reason, the country or the area, the region is escaping my mind right now, but they're still coming out with different regionals, right? Just like a lot of other brands. But they're a great cigar. This one specifically. I haven't tried others. I want to. I'm going to invest in getting some other ones. But I really like this cigar. It makes me so happy. It really does. It's great. I like cigars. They make me happy. But let's check out this box. Like I was saying, the logo has not changed much over the years. You get the traditional little, I believe it's like rice paper. All right, if you put it in your hand and the heat curls, makes it curl or whatever. I have the fan on, so it's kind of blowing it around. That's one indicator to let you know that, hey, this is legit Havana Cuban cigars. But it has this little description here of the cigar. So this is the D number 5, La Gloria Cubana. The Vitola is D number 5. Vitola is shape, like we were talking about in the last video. That's the correct terminology. But this is a 50 ring gauge. To me, that's like the perfect size. It's not too big. It's not too large to hold. It's not too small. 50 is just about right. The traditional Churchill cigar, I believe, is a 47? Is it 47 or 49? I forget, but that one feels just perfect in your hand. It really is. But this is just so close to that. It's just a great great size, great smoke as well. So back to what I was saying. It's similar to another brand, but let me show you the box first. I'm kind of skipping around. I have so many ideas about this cigar in my head. But look at the label or the photo. It's similar to right here in the book. It hasn't changed much over the years. It's pretty much the same. It's really, really cool. But these come in boxes of 10. I have 4 still here, 4 right here, 1 in my humidor. I smoked one last night. I mean, I just love these cigars. They're so good, so good. So back to what I was saying before. Similarities with another brand? Well, can you guess? I think I may have already given it away. Oh man, but they were being produced in the Partagas factory. So guess who they are similar to? Bolivar? Well, they were made there too. But the Partagas factory, as you can tell just by the name here, D number 5. Well, let's see. Partagas Serie D number, pick one. 5, 6, Serie P number 2, right? Serie E. I mean, there's a lot of different ones, but there's so many similarities between La Gloria Cubana and Partagas. So it's really cool to just see the history and the involvement between the brands and how you see those similarities. It's kind of similar, like if you think of other industries. For me, I really like automobiles and cars and trucks and just the history between the old ones and the new ones and just coming out. But there's similarities. If you notice, if you look over the decades, they started to kind of look the same in different periods, right? Because you try to meet the demand of the people. You try to appeal to the masses to see what it is that they like. Okay, we're creating something new. That didn't work. Let's go back to the drawing board, try something different. Okay, what do they like? Okay, we'll make this certain color, this shape, this engine, this whatever it is, right? They put it all together. Other brands see it. They try to mimic it in a sense to try to also appeal to the masses. It's kind of similar with other industries. You could think of fashion, you could think of food, right? You could just anything. How design is done in general is just, there's collaborations between companies and brands. Sometimes they feed off of each other. I heard a story about this one, or actually a few different companies, the automobile brands, where the designers were friends with each other just because of their education and their history of working. They would talk to each other. They weren't supposed to, but they'd be like, oh, hey, I'm working on this. Check this out, right? And what happens? Well, they kind of, share ideas a little bit, right? So why not? The same thing happened years ago as they're making these cigars. They're great though. With the Partagas and La Gloria Cubana, you get that earthy taste, that slight earthy taste, right? But the difference, when they brought back the La Gloria Cubana, they want to distinguish it a little bit, make it a little bit more different than the Partagas. So what they did is they added a more fruity flavor. It's not overbearing, and if you've had them before, you'll notice it. I mean, it's just in general of the La Gloria Cubana brand, not specific to this Vitola, but you get a fruity flavor, a slight fruity taste, and it's really good, when you notice it. It's just like, oh, that's so great. Again, I don't want to go too crazy with all the notes. Oh, look at this, look at that, look at these notes. No, don't want to do all that. It's just too much, To each their own. You're going to taste what you taste. Sit with something over time. That's how you learn, right? We're here to learn and enjoy ourselves, right? So that's what we're doing with these cigars. So they added that little bit of a fruity flavor to the tobacco of La Gloria Cubana, and it's amazing. And I noticed over the years when I did have those few boxes, just since I started smoking these back from 2017 to now, I did notice if you let it sit for a little while, when you smoke one, you get a very, very slight hint of a salty taste, right? I thought I was crazy. I was like, oh, maybe it's something I ate before I smoked. Maybe it's my coffee. Maybe it's something this or that or whatever, right? But I was reading through this encyclopedia, and I haven't read everything in here just because it's just, I like to surprise myself as I'm having a cigar. I'll look it up, So I'm like, oh, what is the history? What is this? What is that? Right? And so I looked it up and before doing this, and people have made the same comment. They are saying, yeah, if you let it sit for a while, again, not specific to this cigar, just the brand in general, the tobacco, if you let it sit for a little while, you get that slight salty taste, and it's not overbearing. It's a very, very slight hint. It's just barely, right? But it's something to kind of surprise you in a sense. You're like, oh, hey, this is unique. This is unique. I really enjoy this, you know? I mean, it's just fascinating to me. I mean, a lot of people, they'll like different things. They like wines, bourbons, whiskeys, brandies, cognacs, liqueurs, all these different things, right? And people enjoy it because of all the differences, the little things that distinguish one thing from another, right? Coffee, same thing with coffee, right? I like coffee. I'm getting more and more into that. I have a different variety of coffees that I like to drink as well. But this cigar, again, I am a fan of different things that may be affiliated with Spain, España, and it's just fascinating to me. So I'm glad on the poll yesterday on Instagram, you guys chose to do a Cuban cigar. I'll do more polls like that to see what you all would like to see, and it makes me smile. As you can see, I'm excited. I really like cigars, and I really like this one specifically. Pairing, what can you pair this with? Well, you can pair it with a coffee. You can have a nice medium roast coffee. I really enjoy Oak and Bond coffees, as you may have seen on my Instagram post, Instagram ZZZGAR, right? You can see all the different photos and videos and whatnot there. But I really like their coffee. It's pretty decent to have with the cigar. I do like other bourbons and whiskeys and whatnot, but what do I like to pair with this most? Well, if you are a follower or a fan of the Instagram that we have, you will notice that I do talk about this quite a bit. And what is this? This is Cardinal Mendoza brandy. Again, I'm not sponsored by anybody doing these. It's just our own brand, ZZZGAR. But this brandy is fantastic. It is also from Spain, so when I have this cigar, I kind of do a throwback to Spain. But this is a fantastic brandy. A lot of people don't like brandies because they think it's an old man's drink or a cognac, but I enjoy them. I really do. But this brandy, it is by far one of my favorite brandies. It really is, the Solera Gran Reserva. So if you get a chance and you can find either of these, I highly recommend them, putting them together. But I don't want to keep you too long. Last time on our other video, we went outside, we smoked. It was a little noisy just because of my current location. You get that extra noise from traffic. I don't want to put you through that, but if it is something that you enjoyed, let me know. I'll do my best to try and improve the audio so we don't get that background noise as much. But let me know what you think of the videos. If there's something specific that you would like to see, let me know. If you think there's something I can improve upon, please let me know. I like constructive criticism. I really do. I like to be able to produce these and make these the best way possible that I can. If you have suggestions, let me know. But thank you, really, thank you for coming by, checking out, see what I had to say, see what we're looking at today. Today we looked at the La Gloria Cubana D number 5 Exclusivo España edition. So if you have some time, give us a like, subscribe, let your friends know. Really just enjoy yourself, because everything's crazy, you know, with everything going on, it's crazy. But if you can find something that you can do each day that you enjoy, try to do it. You know, make yourself smile. This makes me smile. So I love doing this. It really is fun to me. But check us out. We have a website, zgar.com. We have different things that you can check out that are fun. This was our first design here, the little golf ball, cigar rest, actual size golf ball. It has a little punch bottle opener with a magnet. But it's a pretty cool little tool that you can stick to something like your golf cart or wherever that you may be. But it's a little cigar rest. But Yeah, we do different things for fun. Here's a magnet that we have. We have hats, shirts. But either way, thanks for stopping by again. We really appreciate you all. But I hope you have a great day. Let me know what you think. But we'll see you next time. All right. Have a good one, everybody.